This week in car audio. Tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in. This week in car audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by our buddy there, Jeffrey Fernandez. How's it going, Jeff?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm still alive here, guys. I'm still posting to Facebook, trying to get all my shares out there. I'm going to ask you guys to do that too. We are going to do a giveaway this week. We have 2 shirts we're going to give away from Audio Apex. Right? He was on here 2 weeks ago? Last week. Yeah, well, you know, these weeks run together when you're old like me. So
nice.
Let me finish.
So I'm excited about today's show.
Are you? What makes you excited?
Yeah. We got the man, the myth, the legend, right? Wayne Harris, DB Drag Racing.
Yes, we do.
You,
Hey guys, how's it going?
There he is.
There is Wayne Harris. Welcome to the podcast here today. This is your second time, I believe, being on it. I got all my shares in now. I turned off my volume so I don't disturb us with the text. Right now we have Tiffany from Barbados watching us. We have I don't have anybody on YouTube yet. But we got Rosa, Brandy Lee, Jody Green from New Zealand, Moses Martinez, Chris Jenner. So we got the Reno guys. RP Patel's watching. I know he's just all about rules. So I'm sure that's what he's looking for. He wants to know what rule we have for him. So yeah.
We're talking about rules this week?
Hey, we can talk about rules a little bit.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, we got Wayne here. So.
Yeah. Hey, so Wayne, just want to get a quick kickoff on this whole thing. I do have a question about the rules. With the rules, the pinch weld thing. Just want to clear that up because I would say there's a couple of changes. Do you know what the changes are off the top of your head? Or, I mean, I have a good idea of what they are. Do you know what the changes are?
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is make sure that the undercarriage builds are reasonable. And, you know, we've allowed contestants to put undercarriage battery builds, battery boxes since the beginning of the Super Street classes. But recently, you know, the problem has been that some of those builds have gotten so large that it's caused an issue for the DB Drag Racing Association and the direction that we want to head. So what we're doing is we're implementing a rule that allows the competitor to build down up to 15 inches from the pinch weld under the vehicle. So moving backwards from the B pillar to the back of the vehicle, you can go up to 15 inches. If you like, I can try to find a screenshot of that, or you can look on the DB Drag Racing Base Race group and find it. Mm-hmm. So essentially the build down has to follow the contour of the vehicle. So it's not parallel to the ground, it's parallel to the profile of the vehicle on the bottom side. And we're only going to do it, we're looking from like a string test from the driver's side to the passenger side. So not looking from the back of the vehicle forward, but from the side of the vehicle, from the profile of the vehicle. And I know it's probably hard to envision that. I'll see in a minute if I can pull that up as we talk about some of these things.
So I would like to direct people to the DB Drag Base Race Facebook group to check out that picture. Everything we do here is we actually do this as a audio podcast. So it starts out visually on this Facebook platform and on YouTube, but we convert it to YouTube to audio, and that's where it's going to stay in perpetuity, and people are coming back to listen. So you know, the visual aids are tougher to do when I'm thinking that mindset, you know.
Sure. So that makes sense, Doug. One of the things I just want to make clear is that, we take rules changes very, very seriously, and we always try to, we go to a lot of effort to make sure that changes don't impact existing builds. The last thing we want to do is implement a rule that forces all of our competitors to change their installation. But with regards to the undercarriage build, what was happening is we had one contestant who built there's actually a couple of vehicles that had built these really large undercarriage builds. And so other contestants were calling and asking if that was going to be permitted, because if it was, they were going to change their system. And that might sound fine but when you realize that probably only a handful of people would be willing to make that kind of change, um, the impact of allowing a handful of people to do it would greatly affect all of the other existing systems. And we have to do things on a global basis. So in the best interest of DB drag racing and our competitors and the direction that we want to pursue, this is one of those changes. And unfortunately, there are a few cars that are impacted by this, but I've talked to them and they have a good attitude. They have a competitive attitude, and they are going to do what's necessary to fix their bills.
Yep. So that was that. We dropped the 500-watt class, correct?
That's right. The 500-watt class was experimental. We introduced that a couple of years ago. The goal was to try to bring in first-time contestants. But to be honest, nowadays power is so inexpensive. We also have a 1K class. Those contestants can compete in 1K. And also, since that original class was when we first implemented that, we've introduced the new freestyle format, and that is really gaining traction, especially for new contestants. So I don't think that that's going to be a big impact to get rid of that class. We also got rid of the Extreme 5K. There's just not enough extreme contestants participating right now. That was an experiment to see if we could get some of the old school extreme vehicles back in the lanes, but it didn't. Sometimes you just have to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. That didn't really work out. And so we're just doing away with that. Those contestants they can compete in the unlimited, non-limited extreme class.
I know you would love for those days back where, we have 3 or 4 extreme classes and they have 10 cars in every one of them. I mean, that was a different time. Absolutely. Times do change, and, but that was definitely a sight to behold. My first finals that I attended as a judge was 2005. We were inside at Nashville, and yeah, I bet you there had to be at least 30 true extreme vehicles. I mean, Carl Lucius, Scott Owens, just all these other things. They were insane. So
they are, and what's really cool. Some of these contestants, they're kind of like Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
The people that were there in the beginning, and originally DB drag racing had 8 competitors. It was almost an exhibition. But I was just speaking with Aaron Cole. I've been bringing in some people that have been involved with DB drag racing for a long time to get their perspective, their top level 20,000 foot view of ideas for things that we should look at. And he still has his van, and it's in a showroom, in one of his showrooms, and his van was probably one of the most incredible builds ever. So some of these vehicles are still out there, and I'm hoping someday, maybe this year, we can set up a special exhibition area just for those individuals to set up their vehicles, not to compete, but just to permit or provide others an opportunity to see what has been done in the past.
Like a little legacy thing, right? So a museum
Sure.
of car audio.
Yeah, because everybody is still interested in those things. I remember a few years ago, I think it was at Slamology, I was there observing, and all of a sudden I saw Chris Norris's van pull up, and I literally had this deja
Brought back
vu.
memories, huh?
The dots were not connecting, and of course that RP he had Soundcheck had purchased that vehicle and didn't tell anybody, and so that was a good mind trick for me. But the vehicles, there are some out there, and we just need to somehow get those individuals to bring them back out, whether they compete or not. I'm sure that everyone would enjoy seeing what was built back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the DB drag stuff. So we got rid of the 500, we got rid of the 5K. And truly, I saw huge growth, at least in my area, right, for the Super Street X. Super Street X for the California guys was huge. But those guys build their cars. They are the true demo guys. And not saying that other areas don't have true demo guys or any of that stuff, but I mean, as you stated and many other people that have watched or were at World Finals, they, people from back east, like, dude, they drive their cars to the show. That's like what they drive daily, and they're hitting and coming here doing, high 150s, low 160s with these things. So,
That's right.
Yeah. We did have Bobby Riley on last week and talking about some of the good old days and stuff. And, and for him, life had changed, kids and business and whatnot. And just life changed. And that's why him and his brother stopped competing. They were great competitors back in the day. I had a great time with those guys at World Finals. And I told him last week, even for Bob Riley, I can't remember if it was him or Alan, but I asked him one time, I says, hey, why do you guys sell refrigerators? Because I asked, what do you sell at your store? He goes, well, we sell refrigerators. And I go, what's that? And he goes, dude, I'll sell anything that makes me a profit. He didn't even care. He goes, and Car Audio was making him a profit, so they were selling it. So, anyway, so then there's, we got that. Then we, Base Race and Top Dog. We had changes in that also. Do you want to hit those?
Yeah, this is unfortunate or fortunate. This is an issue we've been working with for years now. So and Base Race definitely is one of the most exciting formats to watch. You don't need to spend a lot of money to build a competitive system. It's more about competitor skill than it is about the sound system. And the very first rule in the rule book for Base Race, and it doesn't have very many rules, is that the competitor has to play music. And music, for many, many years, competitors played legitimate bass tracks, songs that you would, listen to as music. But there was a slippery slope, and we've been on that slippery slope for several years now, where people were making custom tracks that were essentially just sine waves. And that is a violation of the spirit of the competition. It's actually a violation of the rules, but it's hard to enforce because what is music? Music is something that people look at subjectively. And, in DB drag racing, we've got competitions in 42 countries. We have judges all over the world. And, and so it was difficult to come up with consistent officiating that where the judge could say, that's music or it's not. So last year, I tried implementing some technology in Term Lab to do some very, very, very basic tests to see if it was a sine wave, or if there was even any modulation, or if there was any frequency diversity at all. And, that wasn't very popular. People didn't understand it, didn't like it. Of course, the people that didn't like it are usually the guys that were playing the test tones. So this year, long story short, Doug, sorry to ramble about this. We're going to put together a collection of approved tracks, and competitors will be able to download that from our site. And that's what competitors will have to use at multi-point events. So actually, it's gotten some people understand why the change was needed. I think mostly the competitors in Base Race are supportive of having a level playing field. Everybody's gone up against somebody that's played test tones at one time or another, and it caused us caused a lot of controversy in the officiating lanes. And so we want to do away with that and provide the competitors with a fair and fun competitive experience.
Yep. So are the judges, one thing I know we did discuss is judges. I don't know where it ended up, but are the judges are going to have these tracks on thumb drive or anything that for multi-point events?
Correct.
Okay.
So you can just issue those and get them back. But competitors also need that content to practice. And so we'll make it available as a download, but then the judges, to ensure that the competitors actually playing that music, they'll have to use one of our either CDs or the thumb drives that you provide.
Okay, so just so you know, Wayne, in case you're watching the Facebook side, when you see the angry faces, I read a blog about how to boost your viewership or your logarithm on Facebook, and it says with the angry faces, for some reason, YouTube or Facebook loves those, and so it boosts it. So all those angry faces aren't necessarily at what we're saying; it's they're trying to help boost the logarithm. Or algorithm.
Gotcha.
All right. So just so you know,
the one thing that I've learned is that you're guaranteed to piss off 50% of the people 100% of the time. Here's the thing. I don't care if people get mad, but what we care about is that, that the officiating is done consistently. People may not like a call, but if you're implementing the rules consistently, they'll respect you for what you do. We have to look out for the big picture, the greater good. And of course, every time competitors, and this is just human nature. If I were to ask 10 competitors how they like to see things change, every one of them would advocate for something that is beneficial to them personally. We have to look at something that from a global perspective. And so it's a hard thing to do, but I think that we have good rules. We have a good organization. We have good judges. I think we have great competitors. So we just keep doing what we're doing and do it better. Every time we get a chance to improve upon it, it'll get better.
Okay. Just Josh T2 just posted in. They don't hear Wayne very well. Is anybody else having? Because my levels say that Wayne is at a good level. Just saying, and this is what broadcast across to YouTube or
Test
Facebook.
1 2.
Oh wow, that went way up.
Testing 1 2. I probably was getting animated and moving away from the microphone. So
okay, yeah, you went up probably 2 dB on that. So anyway, so we had that. I will say the great thing and my opinion about DB drag, and the reason I judge DB drag is specifically. Everybody else says it's good. So, Josh, it must be your system. Anyway, so the thing about DB drag and what I enjoy about the reason I judge DB drag, the reason I competed in DB drag, besides for it being the pinnacle and the top of the car audio competition scene, the bonus is it's 100% objective. There's no subjective judging at all in DB drag. This is what the meter says. This is what you did. That's it. A judge is there just to assure that people are classified correctly and that their builds are within the requirements of the class. Beyond that, the judge has nothing to do with how loud your vehicle is. They can't give this guy a bonus because they like him or that. The meter is what the meter is. So that absolutely, and the more we get away from the judge having to guess whether the song's a tone or not, the much happier I am, because that's one less thing that has the room for potential human error. So I do appreciate that. And now that's going to be through base race and top dog. So that means we're getting rid of the SQ, the song quality score, correct?
That's correct. Right. So now the competitor is just going to play one of those approved tracks. We have a huge library in DB drag racing of music over the years, and we're going to also solicit some input from existing base race competitors. And if it's possible and feasible, we'll see if we can work with those record labels to license that software.
Okay. Are we going to have the boom checks on there?
Yes, the boom check tracks. I know you've really done a lot of first-time competitors do better with boom check. It's pretty easy for them. So, boom check was never really intended as a base race competition song format. But, a lot of the judges sometimes, encourage competitors that are new competitors to use boom check because they're able to, there's a note in there usually that works and they can play it. So we're going to include those.
Yeah, I know a lot of competitors were using it for Cyclone, for like the demo classes.
So let's go to Cyclone next on that then. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean the run is essentially a minute long, right? And then the song itself, boom check, is a minute and 15 seconds. So as opposed to like a base race song, or I know I tell a lot of people to run Young Jeezy, Thug Motivation, that a lot of people used back in the day, still do now. But that didn't have pretty much a minute worth of bass.
Correct.
So that's why I would kind of tell the people, hey, try out boom check. And for those of you that use say YouTube, and sometimes some people don't have a CD player or a thumb drive. Some people use YouTube, believe it or not.
Yeah, their phone.
Yes, their phone. If you look up boom check in YouTube, you could actually find the song. I think it's like boom check 1. So I would tell, okay, you don't have, you don't want to use a thumb drive or a CD, you use YouTube, go ahead, check it out on YouTube. And that's the song you would use. So for those of you that, want to try that out or have that method of using that, I guess type. So, check it out on YouTube.
So speaking of which, we're trying to get Pioneer on here to talk about some of their decks. And one of the things I really would like to talk to him too about is the using Bluetooth versus, the sound, degrading the sound by going Bluetooth. Because you can only transfer so much information over Bluetooth versus direct drive, right?
Yeah.
So
cables, RCAs.
Yes, exactly. Thumb drive, whatever. A direct drive is absolutely going to always surpass Bluetooth. Well, at least in the technology we have out there now. Anyway, so that's one thing. So what are the changes to Cyclone, Mr. Harris?
Well, in Cyclone originally, Cyclone was originally created to simulate the way that I first got involved in competition. So there was a song quality element, there was an RTA element, there was an installation element. And it never really gained the traction that I was hoping for. But one of the things that's interesting is we started pursuing the demo competitors in the last year and a half or so. And we created 2 classes in Cyclone called the demo wall and demo no wall. And we had 17 demo cars in Cyclone at the finals this year. So there were more people in those 2 classes than any other class in DB drag racing. So we're going to continue supporting the demo classes in Cyclone, but for the time being, at least this season, we're going to pause competition in the traditional Cyclone format. So the format that uses RTA and installation scoring, that's going to be tabled for a while. So we're not going to be offering those classes at finals this year.
As a matter of fact, right now in the chat, we have the demo Cyclone no wall and demo Cyclone wall world record holder hanging out in the chat there, Jose Ramos. It's him and his father. So Jose was the no walls record holder, and his father was the wall record holder for demo Cyclone. So yeah, 2 guys out of Oakland do a great job. They come. That to me is it's a attention getter for the crowd. Me as a judge, especially Jose comes up. He's the record holder for that class. He plays 20 hertz. And what I do is, so I just have, what I do is I have somebody, hey, have you guys ever felt 20 hertz before? You guys never felt 20 hertz before? Come here. Let me show you something. And I have them stand about 5-6 feet behind the driver door, because for you people that don't understand Cyclone or not familiar with it, driver door fully open 100%. Beyond that, you can do whatever you're out. Windows down, windows up, kick your tires, open up your back, whatever you think it is to make you louder, that's what you're going to do. So, but the driver door being fully open gives us an opportunity for somebody to stand back there 6 to 10 feet away. And I mean, I'll tell you, at 161 dBs at 20 hertz, it'll rock your insides 10 feet away. So, that's kind of what Wayne was trying to get at when you were doing that, right, Wayne? I mean, that
the demos are really exciting, but it's like a double-edged sword. There's a time and place for it. Some of our sometimes when we implement shows, when we have a show, the venue is not suitable for the demos because it causes, those demo cars are loud, and bass carries for a long way, and I guarantee you, if these guys that are, these champions were out there playing 20 hertz at full volume, you'd probably hear it a mile or two away. Oh, yeah. So it causes the police to come and we end up getting shut down. But there are other venues where, like, at the finals there in the West Coast, where you're at a drag strip and, I've been to shows that were underneath the approach end of a runway at an airport. Yep. So the noise is not going to be a problem. We just need to be aware that, we have to be good neighbors. And that's the only downfall to the demos, because we allowed the doors and windows to be open. So, it can allow the sound to carry for great distance.
Did we talk about the classes for the demo? It's essentially, we dropped it down to 2 classes, right? Demo no wall and then demo wall.
Correct. And, I would be happy to have as many classes as we can populate. So if we end up where we start ending up with 8 or 10 people in each class or more, then, next season we can think about maybe adding a 3rd class. The goal is to, find that balance of offering and like in DB Drag or any of the formats, I'd be happy to have as many classes as we need, provided we can populate those classes at finals.
Okay. So that covers DB Drag, Base Race, Top Dog, because Top Dog's going to follow the same format as Base Race.
There is one change in Top Dog.
Okay.
This is a good one. Competitors are going to love this, and I'm sure a lot of people have been bitten by this. So in Top Dog, I'm sorry, not in Top Dog. I wanted to talk about Cyclone, and right. Then we can go to Top Dog. But in Cyclone, you get a bonus based on how your lowest maximum SPL. So if you do your maximum SPL at 20 hertz, even one sample, then that's what your bonus is going to be based upon. If you do your whole song at 20 hertz, and then for whatever reason you have one note, one sample at 50 hertz, then you're going to get your bonus based on 50 hertz, even though you played your song at low frequencies the whole time. So in the next software release, which should be in a couple of weeks, we're going to average the frequency. So, a single mistake or a single frequency that bumps up isn't going to sink your whole score. So it'll be averaging the frequencies you played during your run. So your bonus will be based on the average frequency instead of the single highest SPL max frequency.
So are we still going to require them to play something off the selected DB jams still, or is it going to be open to them producing their own music for this?
In the demo classes, they can use whatever they want in demo. Okay. The demo cars can choose. A lot of these vehicles they're demo guys. They're going to be demoing their vehicles. So they can choose their own music.
Okay. I just
are we still capping the lowest frequency to 20 hertz? Okay.
We are.
Okay. And it's still the maximum points, I believe,
60
points. Right. Yep.
Okay.
So if they drop anywhere lower than 20, they're not getting like 61 points or 62 points.
No, but maybe someday we can investigate that. You
I,
know,
I,
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say that I've had 2 people ask me, "Hey, can we get it down to 16 hertz?"
Ooh, I heard 10. Somebody said 10,
I,
but
I I have had 2 people ask me about 16. They said they could play 16
yikes.
for a minute, and I go,
That's
"You
sick.
do realize that's below hearing. All any sound coming out of your vehicle at 16 hertz is just the rattling of the vehicle. It's below your hearing range." So that's awesome. All right. So we covered DB drag, base race, top dog, cyclone. Um,
and then top dog, they're going to have to use a selected track also.
right.
Now, one of the things we're going to do is make extended versions of those songs. So, you know, because in top dog, time extensions can extend for a long time. You
Mhm.
need to make sure that your music track is lasts long enough, you know, to allow that to take place.
Okay. Then last one's freestyle. Anything new? What's the plans with freestyle? What's your vision for the class?
So the great thing about freestyle is it helps DB drag racing grow. It definitely caters to people that have never competed before, but it's also exciting to people that are already existing competitors. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the challenges that we have as an organization is we have what I call the royalty of SPL competitors. Our competitors, I mean, if you go into a lane and let's say you've never competed and the judge puts you in one of these classes like a super street class, and then you get beat by 37 dB, it's a humiliating experience. And the other thing is, sometimes people are not really, they're put off by the conflict of a head-to-head competition.
Mm-hmm.
So in DB drag racing, when you have elimination rounds, it's personal, you against the guy next to you. Whereas in freestyle, it's almost like you against the meter. And so I can't tell you how many times people go, I just want to see what my system will do. They
Yeah.
really want to compete, but they just want to see what their system will do. And so we're really going to push freestyle. We're going to offer it at the finals this year. Um, right now, we just have 2 classes in freestyle. At the local level, though, the judges have great discretion on how they want to classify the participation. And in freestyle, the finals invitation is going to be points only. It doesn't matter what class you've been in throughout the season, um, because the you may do something locally, Doug or Jeffrey, that are not one of those traditional classes. Our goal is just to involve people, to get them to try it out. You know, when you go to a contest, it's not just about the competition, it's about the camaraderie. So somebody
Mm-hmm.
goes and they experience what it's like to be a part of the community of car stereo competitors. Then they will come back again. But if their first experience is they get stomped by 37 dB, 40 dB, you know, then they will never enter again.
Yep. Okay. So just gonna have 2 classes for finals, super street and a stock class. Is that what our intent, or wall and no wall? What's
Yeah,
our world
wall and
finals?
no wall. But
Okay.
but
In
I'm
freestyle?
gonna
In freestyle, yes, sir.
Uh, oh, okay. Wasn't it Pro Stock or Super Street?
you know, Jeffrey, you'll have to check on that for us. What
Okay.
we, because I may be incorrect there. Here's what I will tell you though: as we progress through the season, and if we see traction in this class, and this class, we see a lot of participation in certain classes. We may change what we offer at the finals because right now, you know, we will offer more, not less. So if we start getting a lot of participation and you know another class is warranted in freestyle, we can add that in.
Okay.
It's still the freestyle is a new experimental format. It did really well last year, but I'm sure there's going to be little changes here and there to better accommodate, you know, the growth of participation in that format.
Okay. Oh, we did miss the final one, which would be bagger beats. What were the final decisions on that?
So what we're going to do again in bagger beats, We didn't really have any very significant participation at finals last year or even throughout the season. So what we're going to do is just table that format. We're going to do a single Power Wheels class at finals, but no motorcycles at finals this year.
Oh, so is it going to be a full class, or I know we had discussions about it possibly being like more like an exhibition class or whatever. What's your intention for the Power Wheels?
Well, I think we're going to do one regular competition class, just
Okay.
one class for Power Wheels. But the rules state that the children need to work those vehicles or those Power Wheels. We're going to enforce that this season. So the young people that are the owners of those things are the ones that need to operate the system. It's for them.
Yes.
And
Right.
and I appreciate, I mean, I was a scoutmaster. I mean, I have kids, and that's a great thing about stuff like Power Wheels or anything else. It gives you something to do with your family. But at the end of the day, the Power Wheels class is for the children, and they need to be the ones that are running the system.
There you go. I agree.
Same
Okay.
here.
So, I know we don't have finals locked in for anything, which is fine. I prefer to be locked in, as we've discussed.
That's
Everybody
just,
else, right?
That's your assumption, but
I
yeah,
know.
that's
Well-
a good.
Well, it's
that's
not
a
locked in.
reasonable
I
assumption.
haven't seen anything posted online that says World Finals is this date and it's going to be here. So that's not locked in officially. What are we looking at for points for World Finals? Are we going to go back to 75 on this, or haven't decided yet?
Haven't decided yet. There's some crucial. There's one crucial. There's a show that a lot of contestants go to, the Slamology event,
Mhm.
and I'm not certain that DB Drag Racing will have a presence there this year because essentially, I mean, and we have a good relationship with Slamology, but the numbers are the numbers. We've already waived all of the sanctioning fees for that event, but if they can't pay enough money for the judge to get there
Right.
and stay in the hotel, we can't ask the judge to do that and lose money on the event. And that's really where we're at right now. DBDRA we don't get anything out of, we don't derive any revenue from that show, and neither do the judges, other than what they're contracted to do. So we're happy to be there, but I can't ask you, Doug, to go drive and pull your equipment over there and lose $1,200 to do the show.
Right.
So if that show doesn't happen for DB Drag Racing, that affects a lot of competitors on their points accrual and stuff like that. So I can't answer you that yet. We're going to make a huge push to sign up new judges this season in the spring.
Okay.
And there's a lot of territories where we need to have we need to have more events.
Mhm.
And then there's still some places where we're having trouble just having public gatherings, if you can even believe that, which is insane.
I live in California. I can believe it.
Oh,
But
there you go.
The rules never affected you this whole time. But yeah, you've done a good job for sure, keeping it going there against that headwind. So
yeah,
kudos for that.
Okay, so as far as that goes, so I do know this is not your 25th year for DB Drag, but it'll be your 25th year for finals. You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this season, and I'll tell you this: we're going to go big on the finals this year. I'm all in for this. I'm talking back to the convention center. I mean, I actually put up a thread in our Facebook group about reminiscing and getting the contestants who've been to these finals over the years to tell us what are their most memorable, what made it special for you. And it was a great read, and we're going to try to get recapture some of that grandeur. So DB Drag, the first DB Drag Racing event was in 1994. Back in those days, when we first started doing DB Drag Racing, it was almost like an exhibition contest. We had like 8 competitors, like Fred Wright Jr. and Roger
Fukuda.
Bridges. And and so these competitors, they would travel around. We'd do shows all over. But as we started gaining traction, we were doing like 8 or 10 shows a year. And then in 1998, we formed the DB Drag Racing Association, and we did over 500 events that year. And that's the first year that we had our finals. So this year's the 25th anniversary of the DBDRA. And so we're already working on it big time. And I know that it's going to be something super special. Everybody's going to want to be at this show. And it's going to either be a massive success or massive failure, one way or the other. We're going down fighting. So we're really putting forth an effort here to make it something that contestants will remember.
Absolutely. For you guys that may be watching this and have not attended a World Finals event, whether it be a single venue or multiple venues, Canada, California, Florida, or Brazil, a World Finals event is absolutely something you should attend. It is more fun than you can even imagine. Yes, there's a very serious component to it, and that's when you're in the lanes. But when you're outside the lanes, the stuff that goes on, that's what your memories are. Last week we were talking about how we met Muhammad Ali at Louisville. We're sitting there talking. I'm talking to people from Canada, the twins, and in walks in Muhammad Ali. Whenever in my life would I be sitting in a hotel room in Indianapolis or Indiana, and Muhammad Ali will walk in while I'm talking to a couple of Canadians, right? I mean, that's freaking awesome. That's why we had Bobby Riley on last week. He was inspired by that post. I was like, Bobby, let's come in. Let's talk about the great things that you guys used to do and what made it fun. And that's what we talked about on the show last week. So
I would love to, we're going to definitely make sure that there's an incredible party, but I'd also like to see like a class reunion of these, like the Rileys and Brantley Waits. I saw Brantley at a Knowledge Fest event there in Dallas, and he was telling me that's the best time ever. He was just so excited to catch up on old times. And, if you get people together that were there, and even people that are just getting started, it's just going to be something really special. And I can't wait, and I don't want to divulge anything yet.
Come on.
But
yeah, let's do it. Best time.
We're going to prod him a little bit.
Yeah. So we're really excited about it, and we're going to put forth, the towers are going to be there and with some new features, new capabilities. And, it's really exciting. Even after all these years, I can't believe it's been a quarter of a century. I've been doing this, and Jeffrey, you've been doing this a long time, and Doug, you've been doing this a long time. I mean, I've known you guys for decades. The time it's hard to believe how much time has gone by and what we've seen. And, in DB drag racing, I know people that started as competitors, and now they're in charge of big multinational corporations, or they're working in charge of marketing. And think about all the companies that have been started because of what, competitors started out and became, they started their own company. So it's amazing. It is.
No. And that's, I will say, typically when I see you at CES, a lot of our conversations have been exactly that. Guys like Rusty with DC, T2 Audio, Shocker Audio,
Scotty Johnson,
DD, Scotty Johnson.
Yeah.
Jeffrey and who's your boss, man? Roger. Roger Bridges.
Oh, my buddy Roger.
Yeah, your buddy Roger, the one who's going to come on the show someday.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So
it's those times in the lanes. You guys having that camaraderie, and then now you guys, a lot of people like Scotty Johnson, has his own company. It's all started competing, right?
Yeah, Nick Wright. Another
it's a
one.
Beautiful thing. Yeah, beautiful thing.
When you can take your hobby and turn it into a business or successful business, it's hard to even think of it as a job. I know a lot of people, and including myself, I do this for fun. It's just, I've got the best job in the world. And to be able to take something that you love to do and then actually capitalize on that, not many people get to do that. We're lucky. We could be selling bars of soap, but we've got cars and stereos and music, and
Somebody's got to do
That's
it.
right. That's right. No, that's cool. I mean, 25 years. That congratulations on World Finals.
thanks.
That's 25 years for that, plus what 28 years overall as a as a body. So that's awesome. And I do bring this up a lot here because I am a big fan of the people who help us. I mean, it's nothing against you, Wayne, but without Celise, dude, you would have nothing.
Yeah, she's the true. She makes it happen for sure. Why do you think I got married to her? So
I know. I
I
tell
better be careful. She might be watching this, but no, she's really talented, and she understands DB drag racing, and she's been there. If you look at those videos from 1994, 1995 on my website, these very first finals events, she's there. She's in the tower with me doing this stuff. So yeah, you're right about that, Doug. We couldn't do it without her. She actually produces the finals every year
Oh yeah.
too.
Oh yeah,
you know
she'll start in, you know, April-ish and start, okay, we need to start nailing this down. We got to nail this down. Okay, we got to start looking for this. I need this for the shirts. I need this for, and even when she's doing that and she's helping you with your stuff, especially you because you're going to college still again, so you're back in college, so some of your time's taken up with that. She's building new graphics almost every year for DB Drag. She's
Right.
helping with promotional stuff for the judges. She's coming up with new shirts potentially for the judges, and even so she is a workhorse for your company, in my opinion. I mean, she does
What do they
so
say?
much.
They say behind every great man is a
A great
woman.
woman.
So yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that nowadays because now, but Celise was art director at Rockford for a long time, and so she had a lot of experience, doing the graphic design, and she loves doing that. And as you can see, all of the graphics behind me, behind
And me.
Jeffrey, and
Yep.
yeah, I mean, she does all of this, and all of those things that you see online on Facebook, all of the shows every week that have a graphic. She does that. She maintains the Facebook, the social media stuff, because I'm not really into that. But you're right. I mean, everything in DB. If I look around our organization, there are so many critical elements and so many people that I think are invaluable to the success of the organization. It actually is beyond. It's gone beyond the DB Drag Racing Association. It's like a living entity now. Anywhere, if you go to, and I can't believe. I mean, I heard you say Jody Green in New Zealand. And I mean, everywhere in the world, there are people they're like us that are just as passionate about car stereo and competition. And so, it's almost on autopilot. We just
Yeah.
we just do the hard stuff that needs to be done, and then everyone else makes it fun.
No, that's awesome. Wayne, so what do you got coming up for you guys, like some conventions and stuff like that, to where, and also website and whatnot, because the Term Lab is super, super important, because without that, we don't have our organization. And I do want to say, hey, thank you, because we had the stick mics before, and good Lord, were those a problem. But we needed a playing field, right? So it was
Sure.
the beginning of the sandbox. You've changed that to these sensors that are super accurate. I mean, amongst themselves, whether they're whatever they are, but they are super, super accurate within themselves. It doesn't matter if I'm here, there. I grab this guy's mic or grab that guy's mic. When I plug them in, I'm gonna get a almost to the T reading. I know there's no way we can make it, precise to the millionth or whatever, but the accuracy of the meters is super strong. I do want to thank you for that. But where would people buy, purchase, cost, price? What's coming up for you?
So it's really crazy right now. I graduate at the end of this month. I'm with a master's degree in ed tech, but I'm trying to go back to college in the fall to get another master's degree in computer science at UT Austin. In the meantime, I've been working really hard on the Term Lab software and also doing some of the training modules. So I've got the Winner's Edge thing. I think is an amazing tool for competitors, and I've got 3 videos online for Winner's Edge, 4 videos online, and I'm about to finish up that training module. If you're a competitor, you need to use Winner's Edge. It's a free feature. If you have software maintenance, it's included with your maintenance, and it allows you to log and analyze your system. The other thing is I've got a new update for Term Pro that lets you add holes and for ports and drivers in the wood and export files to see so you can use it with the CNC router. So those are the things with the Term Lab, and the system can be purchased on our website at termpro.com. And then in 2 weeks, I'm doing a seminar at Knowledge Fest in Las Vegas on loudspeaker enclosure design, and it's going to be really cool because I'll start with a top level strategy of what installers should do, and then we'll go through a review of the different types of enclosures. And then I'm going to do some design simulation on Term Pro for seal vented and bandpass enclosures. And then I actually have 4 enclosures on site, and I'm going to use Term Lab to measure them and allow the attendees to hear the sonic differences between those 4 enclosure types. So I'm doing that in Las Vegas. That's on February 18th and 20th through the 20th. And then in March, the following month, I'll be in Mesa, Arizona for the Master Tech Expo, and I'll be doing a seminar there also. And DBDRA and my company will have a booth at both of those locations. And then I'm also doing a virtual training with our affiliates down in Mexico, and that will be on March 24th through the 27th. So there's a lot going on. Of course, we're also working on the finals. And this year, Celeste didn't wait till April. She's been on it for months.
I know she
now.
has.
So because this is a big year and we want to make sure that it's going to be spectacular.
Okay. That's
guys, there's a question on here by Kobe Comer. Says why can an extreme build compete against a super street build in demo wall? No fairness in the equation.
So I think
exactly sure what the question is.
Yeah. So what he's saying is he's looking for classification for the demo class. And in my estimation as a judge, I think any Super Street X should be allowed to compete. So as long as you qualify as Super Street X and not Extreme, I don't see the reason you could not compete in the demo wall class.
And you know what? In Extreme, from my experiences, they're gonna blow woofers higher, or they use a higher frequency.
Yep.
So I've even seen it countless times where there's a vehicle comes in with like a 140, but they're at like 20 hertz compared to a vehicle that's doing 160 at 60 hertz. I mean, so they're really maybe shouldn't be that big of a distinction between Super Street and Extreme.
Yeah.
Because that Extreme vehicle might not be as loud at 20 hertz. So I mean, I'm not sure. Does that answer your question there, Colby?
And also when you have an Extreme vehicle, I mean, I don't know, have you built one or you've been part of one, right, Jeffrey?
Oh yeah.
So in our Extreme build, it was super important that nobody even pushed the burp button once the door was open. We would unload our drivers that quick. I mean, the cabin's so designed and so specific to focusing that wave into one spot that you open the door and you just unload the driver, and there you go. That's $300 for a new recount.
Exactly. So you wouldn't really see that many true extreme vehicles in Cyclone.
It'd be difficult for them to compete.
So, one of the things, and you guys have brought up, all of the points you brought up are totally valid points. But the other element is demo is demo. We're looking for vehicles that can play full range music. One of the requirements is they have to play music. And this year, at both locations, both finals locations, we did a demo death match. But to be in that, you had to audition. I was actually asked, I required all of the contestants to audition so that I could select the vehicles that best met what I was looking for, which is a demo vehicle that can play full range music, like a rock concert with your doors open. And so like you guys were mentioning, a lot of extreme vehicles don't even have any mid-range or high frequency drivers. They would be crushed the moment you burped your system. And so they're not capable of playing full range. They're not made to be played with the doors open. And there's just not that many extreme vehicles out there. So to develop a class, just to accommodate a couple of people, that doesn't make sense, from our perspective anyway. Now, if we could get back to what Doug was saying earlier, where there's 20, 50, or 100 extreme guys out there in the pit stalls, then we could revisit this.
Yeah.
So I have to mention Lucky's comment. Lucky McGovern's watching. Everybody knows he wasn't our technical guy on here, so he weighed in with his technical expertise here.
Let's see.
He says, according to my calculation, the wave equals excursion plus compression minus demos, and the deadener will create peanut butter. So
I agree. I think I read that somewhere in the books. Yeah.
So that was his take on that conversation we just had. So, but no, hey, I appreciate that, Jeffrey.
Yes,
we are
sir.
running up on our hour, and I got to go take some people's money again bowling tonight, since I'm doing fairly well at that this year. I'll just say,
It's good. It's good
better
to
than
hear.
average. Next week I'll be in Vegas. I'll be doing my part of the podcast from Vegas. I'll be there bowling, taking people's money in Vegas. Hopefully I walk out of there with $100 grand. That's what I'm going for next week. Let's see how that works out. There's going to be some very good bowlers at that one. I mean, you got $100 grand on the line. You're talking not your local chumps. Anyway, but what do you got coming up, Jeffrey, as far as shows and whatnot?
We're gonna do some shows once a month. I mentioned this last week in Grapevine, Texas, at Crossfire headquarters. So I mean, we're really pushing hard in the Texas market here. I don't know if you guys know. Last season, I think we had 2 champions on the East Coast. So
and one of them even drove to the West Coast afterwards.
Exactly. We had a couple of people drive, cross country to go to the West Coast location. So really pushing hard for the Texas guys, step it up and get to finals. We're doing all these shows. A funny thing happened last show we had at Grapevine. So there was a competitor. His name was Alan Riley. He was in base race. Oh, okay. He brought
Bobby's brother, Alan.
No. Did I say Riley? I mean Alan Ray.
Oh, okay.
Alan Ray.
All
so
right.
he brought his buddy with him, first timer, right? So it worked. They were both doing base race. So they end up going head to head. And Alan, who brought his buddy ended up beating him.
Yep.
And he ends up winning, all the base race. It was his first competition. So trying to get a lot of those moments going for the guys down there in Texas. I'm still in it for SoCal. So if any of you SoCal guys, competitors, manufacturers or shops, want to have an event in SoCal, hit me up. I'm just looking for a reason to go back to SoCal, to do an event. I know there was a couple of SPL teams. I think Team Gorilla Hertz was one of the guys. Al Romero wants to do an event down there. I got Tony wants to do a show down there. So, hey, just keeping the dream alive.
All right.
Keep hope alive.
And for me, we look like we're February 27th, and we'll be at Lunsford Customs. That's in downtown Sacramento. You guys mostly know where that is. Josh Tattoo out of Reno. He actually started building a trailer today to host 1X shows in Reno to try and get those guys better at base race and top dog and whatnot. So he's trying to help out the Reno guys and get better at what they do. And so, hey, kudos to you, Josh. Way to go. You know, he's stepping up as a competitor. He has no ambitions of judging other than getting people involved. Stuff like that, you know, like Wayne has said many times, hey, bring one person with you, and every year we'll double competitors.
Double, right.
That's right. First off, I want to a little on-air meeting with you, Jeffrey.
Okay.
I talked to Audio Apex today. Nathan
All right.
Nathan and Christopher Munson.
And Chris, yeah.
Whoa, lost my camera there for a
Oh.
second. Anyway, so I talked to them. Well, that's really blurry. That's what the pins look like to me. Wow. Anyway, okay, so I talked to them today. They got 2 shirts
Yeah.
they're going to give away, so we're going to do 2 random
Nice.
drawings next week. We'll do them on
Okay.
the podcast like we discussed. We'll figure out the randomator or whatever. He has blue, red, green, and purple. You can go check those out at Audio Apex official t-shirt at caraudiobargains.com. Now, how do you think we should do this? My opinion is I really want to push our the YouTube for This Week in Car Audio, but let's start easier, like and share this feed.
Yeah.
And so
Pretty
we'll take
easy.
all
Like,
the names.
share.
Yeah, so we'll take everybody who liked and shared today's podcast, and we will put them on a random generator, and we'll pick 2 people. We'll let you know who they are. They need to get a hold of us. Once they get a hold of us, we will have them drop ship. Let us know their size and the color they want, and we'll have them drop ship to their house. Sound fair?
Yeah, everybody wants free stuff.
Yeah. So we're starting with Car Audio Bargains, Audio Apex.
Yes.
I do know we're working on stuff possibly with Crossfire, Kicker. We're working on stuff with Incriminator, DC.
And you know, this invite goes out to anybody. You know,
Oh yeah.
You have a SPL team that wants to kick down. I know some guys in SoCal that do the acrylic. You know,
Yep.
they would sponsor the awards for the different events. So
Okay.
if you guys want to kick down for the show, you know, we could raffle them off. You know, get your name out there. It could be a tax write-off. Who knows? You know, let us hear it. Let's hear about it in the comments. All you got to do is just like and
share.
Like and share. That's it.
Yep.
Takes 2 seconds.
Yep. So other than that, Wayne, thank you very much for showing up. You did a great job. We appreciate you, sir.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Jeffrey.
And Jeffrey,
You're quite welcome. Yes, sir.
you're doing a great job, sir, as my co-host. I really appreciate it. As you guys can see, Jeffrey's stepping up his game. He's got a background going now. He got a new mic.
Yeah, I guess I got a promotion, right? I got a background now, so I can't get the cool background like Doug has it, but hey, you know, it's a step up.
All you got to do is dedicate a whole room to it.
Exactly. Don't tell my wife.
Yeah. So, hey, guys, once again, I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank everybody for listening and paying attention today. If you want to throw us some bones out there, remember, as Lucky used to say, no $100 is too small for us. If you want to throw us some tips, you can do Venmo at SonicFX, Cash App, $SonicFX. Remember, I share that with Jeffrey 100%. We split it 50-50. Whatever it is, we appreciate. This is absolutely offered free of charge to everybody that wants to listen to it. It's available on all your streaming platforms. If you go to a platform and it does not exist, please let me know and I will get it on there. You guys know what we got coming up, the people we've been talking to. So if you guys are wanting to look and be part of this show, have suggestions for people to be on, let me know and we will do our best. I'm trying to work out something with DJ Magic Mike, get him on here. For me, that would be awesome because I've been listening to him since early 80s. So anyway,
make you how old?
Older than you.
Yeah, I got you.
So, hey, but anyway, guys, thank you for coming in. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Jeffrey. We'll see you guys next week, Monday night, 6 p.m. on This Week in Car Audio, 6 p.m. California time, the only time that matters. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Watch for it to come on the audio-only podcast tomorrow morning sometime. All right, have a good night.
whoa, whoa.